Hey there, Fletcher from All Things Overlanding here, and today I'm going to be installing a new traction board mount from FieryRed. I've got this molly panel, which is actually kind of a challenge, but I'm going to walk you through it today. So again, today I'm going to show you how I'm mounting my short ones to the side, but let's get into installing the traction board mounts.
Understand where it came from, but you got it, my got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, so I just started to work on these things. I wanted to have a little bit of an idea of what I was doing before I started to video for you guys. So what I'm doing is I'm putting sort of the arrow looking end, the pointy end out. So, towards each end. And then what I did is just on my little, tool stool here, I put this thing on the middle so that these can hang through so that I can get them lined up. And then I've tightened down these bottom bolts. So now my bars are in the right spot to align with that. And then here is the other end. So again, same thing, right? We just got these sort of pre-widened so that I know exactly how wide these need to be. Now what I'm going to do, I think, is measure from the middle to the middle of this. And then I'm going to try and bolt these things to my molly panel that width apart, right? For where these bars are. I want those bars to be exactly the same width apart that they are right now. Once I get these mounted to the truck, I'm going to leave them a little bit loose. So if I have to wiggle them or move them a little bit, I can. Then I'm going to test fit the traction boards to it. And then I'm going to show you kind of the rest of it, how the rest of that works. But so let's work now to get these attached to the side of the molly panel. So, but if you are installing the short guys, I want to go ahead and just do the measurement so that you've got that too, and it saves you that effort. So I'm literally going right from the middle here to the other end, and it's basically exactly 12 inches. So that's kind of nice that they thought about that and made this exactly 12 inches apart. So now all I have to do is mount these with these posts exactly 12 inches apart, and we should be in good shape to then get the boards thrown on. So before we get into it though, let's start by talking a little bit about what comes in the box. So you get these two brackets, right, that are adjustable and made for these, for their traction boards. And then these slots allow you some wiggle room, right? So you can move these back and forth horizontally. Then you also get these 4 hand screws. So these are what's going to go on the end once you put your traction boards on to hold them in place. You get these 4 spacers, which are going to allow you to tighten these down, but not have to tighten them down all the way, right? It's going to give you tension on the board by extending those bolts and reducing the amount of time that you have to spend screwing the hand turns down. Then you get a padlock, which is pretty cool, and they give you directions for that. And as you see, there's these little holes on the end here. Just pick any one of these. All 4 of them have the hole on them, and then you could put that padlock through and you could lock these things up so nobody can take them. Then you get 4 of these little threaded channel nuts. So you could put these in channel if you've got some sort of a bed rack or a roof rack or something that will allow these to slide down in it. Now in my case, it's a little bit weird because I'm going to be putting it on this sort of abnormal molly panel on the side of my Hyperline camper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and sort of snake those bolts back behind these holes and then use these holes for mounting if I can. So if that lines up with 12 inches, then that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to put the bolts down through those brackets, right, into the nuts that are going to be behind this. And that's how we're going to attach the brackets. And then once the brackets are attached, then again, you slide your traction boards on, put your hand cranks on, and you're done. So let's figure this out really quick and see how I can mount it. But if you have something with channel, then it's going to be a lot easier for you. So 12 inches is nice because it's easy. The only problem is I don't really have anything that lines up with 12 inches. So for me and mine, it seems that right here in the front of this L track and then this hole, that is almost exactly 12 inches. So that's probably what I'm going to have to do to get this to work. Something like this, and then use both these pieces of L track here to sort of center this and pull it up against it. All right, guys, so I am modifying my brackets a little bit. I'm going to explain why. So mine is a very unique sort of combo of L-track and then different sort of styles of molly holes. These things fit just almost perfectly between the L-track if you cut off the end. So as you can see, I've smoothed out the end. I put it on a belt sander, sanded it down, used a 4.5-inch angle grinder to just cut the end little wings off, the little rounded parts. So I've cut those off, but just to prevent any sort of rust or anything like that, I'm going to hit it with some, flat black Rust Stop Rust-Oleum stuff just to touch them up. But then I'll show you this on the truck. This should fit right between the L track. So then if I ever want to attach something using the L track, it's not blocked by this and I should still be able to use it. Plus then it will also sit flush against the molly instead of being like sort of up and elevated and resting on that L track. So I'm just going to hit this with the paint really quick. All right, we'll let that dry and then we'll get it on the truck. I'm going to go modify the other one while we're doing that. So one note on this is you do want to make sure that you've got your bolts in the right spot. So I did tighten these down all the way. I'm just leaving these on while I modify these brackets, and then I'm essentially just cutting off everything above the bolt. So that whole sort of wing part up there. To do that, I'm just literally clamping it in a little vise. It's not even really attached to my table. I just move it around. And I'm kind of holding it and hitting it with the 4.5-inch angle grinder to take this whole top part off. Once I get it cut down, then I'm moving it over here to my little Harbor Freight belt sander and just smoothing it out a little bit. And we'll do the exact same thing to the other side, hit it with paint, and then we'll get them mounted. Okay, so as you can see with the modifications, now you shouldn't have to do this to yours, so I don't want to portray this as something you're going to probably have to do. You should not have to modify these. I'm just weird and I don't mind cutting stuff up to make it fit. But now that I've cut those ends off, as you can see, it fits perfectly right in between the L-tracks, so it's going totally flush. Another note is because of these holes on my molly panels here, the backing bolts for these posts sit down in those, so this sits totally flush. I just fished one of the channel brackets back behind there, and I got this to just catch it. Now I'm gonna get a screwdriver and hold that in place so it can't turn. And I'm gonna get this one turned in, and then we're gonna do the same thing down below it, and then we're gonna measure our 12 inches. We're gonna make sure that we're matched up with a hole, because I can move this because I'm in track. And then we're gonna make sure that we're exactly 12 inches apart. Then before we tighten everything down, we're gonna test fit it, just make sure that we're good, remeasure it again probably, then tighten everything down, then test fit it again, and then we'll be good. So let me get a screwdriver and put it on that so we can keep it from turning. All right, so I was able to get that to work. This fits up here perfectly. I'm going to finish putting it on here in a second. But I did want to touch on too, the instructions that they give you are actually really, really good. Like, it kind of gives you ideas for how to mount it. It shows you exactly how the pieces go together, which is really nice. And then also, most importantly, they show you how to do the padlock. But I still found this a little bit tricky, so I just wanted to put it in a video so that if you are here because you bought this and you're like, how the heck do I program this padlock, right? So essentially what you do is you turn it to 0, 0, 0. So there's like arrows at the top and bottom here. So whatever numbers are in between those are the ones that are your combo. By default, it's 0, 0, 0. Okay. You put in your 0, 0, 0. You pop the top open. What you do is you turn it. So when you look at the top here, I don't know how well you can see this, there is sort of a like cutout back behind the padlock. And then there's also one off to the side. So what you do is when you unlock this, you pull this up, you turn it to the side, so 90 degrees to the side. So this is, here, let me just show you. So I'm going to pull mine apart just like that. But so you turn it to the side, push down on it, and then while it's pushed down, you change it to whatever code you want it to be. And then once you're done with that, then you can pull it back up, turn it, lock it in place, spin it, and you're locked. And then you should be able to go back to, you know, whatever combination you set it to, and voila, it opens. So anyways, that's it. You just take this, literally turn it to the left, push it down. While you're holding it down, turn it to whatever combo you want, turn it back, lock it, spin the dials, and you're set. So now while I put this on here, let's talk through another couple of tips that I learned. So if you're doing this on a Hyperline camper, just like I do, and you have this same style molly panel with the L-track on it, I figured out a cheat, a workaround. So these spacers that hold this away from the actual door are double-sided threaded spacers. So inside of the door there is a nut, and actually the Allen head is the same size as the hardware that came with this kit. So I was able to use the same Allen wrench that I was using to put this all together to take this apart. So what I did was I pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the bottom. So again, there's still one on the inside that's holding that spacer in place. So all I have to do is put these 5 back in there. But in doing that, it allows me to just sort of pull this away like an inch. So then I was able to get my hand back behind here to get these blocks in place and then hold them while I tightened them down. And then now I'm going to put the bolts back in here, these bolts back in there to tighten that back down, and we're good to go. So once you've got your boards on, then you're going to want to put your spacers on each one of these through bolts. That just saves it so that you don't have to hand crank these things all the way down to get them tight, right? You don't have to go very far. So then you're putting these hand tightening sort of thumb screws, finger screws, whatever you want to call them, on here, and you're just tightening these down. But if you did want to lock them up, then you can just take your lock at this time, put it through any of these holes. So all these bolts have a hole in them. It doesn't really matter which one, because if you can't get one of them off, then you can't get the whole thing off, right? And then you're gonna put that on, put that up, spin your things, and you're locked. It's as easy as that. Now, just to show you too, I also have an axe and a shovel mounted on the inside of this. But even with those things mounted on the inside and these traction boards on the outside, at least with my Hyperlion, these gas struts are plenty strong. It still goes up just fine. You can tell that there's weight on it for sure, but it still goes all the way up. It holds itself up just fine. So just be wary of how much stuff you attach, because obviously then at some point you may need to put stronger gas struts on it or something like that. For now though, totally fine the way that it is. All right guys, but there you go. That is how easy it is to install these traction board mounts. Now, I just want to really point out that this is an abnormal installation, right? But I also feel like there's a lot of help to be had in seeing people do things that are not the normal, just like bolted to the bed rack type of a thing, right? Obviously, if yours is much easier, good for you. Congratulations. I'm super excited for you. I hope that yours is. But if it isn't, hopefully this gives you some ideas for like, how do you work around this stuff, right? I mean, this was almost inaccessible. I was about to literally give up because I'm like, how am I going to fish these things back there? They kept falling out the bottom, smacking into the side of the truck. But so then just removing these bolts from the lower end so that I can get my hand up there to hold it in place made all the difference and made it super secure. So, I mean, these things are on there great now. And, you know, we'll only go on when I'm going on trips, but it's just nice to be able to quickly throw them up here, have them bolted somewhere where if I need them, I can just undo a lock if I need to and do some hand screws and I'm good to go. So of course, if you have any questions or anything, post up in the comments down below. There will be links to these traction boards. I'll also put the longer traction boards and I'll put this mounting kit because Bunker Industries is great budget-minded stuff. Like I run their recovery gear. I'll put a link to that below too. If you're looking for like an all-in-one recovery kit, they make a great one of those. They have just a ton of great budget-minded stuff. So again, check out Bunker Industries through the links in the description down below. As always, there will be links to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers, things like don't burn your wiener and it's a hot dog, or F people, let's go overlanding. There's ATO merch on there. So if you're into any of that stuff, patches, stickers, definitely check that out. There's also links to all my other social channels down below. So if you want to follow along on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever, I'm everywhere and I'd love to chat with you. Also, if you'd like to support the channel in just sort of a passive way, there is a join button down below this video, which gets you early access to the videos and some other perks for a small fee each month. But you get to see videos early. Like I'm scheduling this at least a week, week and a half, 2 weeks out sometimes. I'm putting up the podcast episodes, all the other videos, the Alibaba camper videos that I've been doing are all going out early for members. If you don't want to be, that's no problem. You still get to see them when they come out for everybody else. But if you want early access, if you want to support the channel, that's a good way to do it. Now, if you want to be more involved with all things overlanding, there's also a link to my Patreon down below. And in there, we've got a 24/7 Discord. We've got a Zoom call that we do once a month. And then we're also going on trips a couple times a year. So if you're looking for a good group of folks to sort of get to know, to build friends with, then that may be a good place for you. And we'd love to have you as part of the Patreon. And then last but not least, there's a link to the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group. Now, this group is totally free to join. Over 31,000 people at the time I'm recording this. So if you want to join a group that's not full of bullies, not full of a bunch of self-promotion, that may be a good place for you. And we'd love to have you. But again, thanks so much for watching. I hope that was helpful. Click that like button if it was, and make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.